My name is Noah Chalaya, and I'm the president of Altispeed Technologies and the host of the Ask Noah Show.
My name is Sarah Chalaya. I'm the executive producer of the Ask Noah Show, and I'm also Noah's wife.
I love my job. More than most people probably. I just have this passion for problem solving and helping people. And my day job lets me do both of those.
Noah really likes helping people. It's pretty common for him to come into the office after a long project and say, I know we were there for 6 hours, but let's just bill them for 3. And he always has an excuse. It can be, oh, they're really good people, or their budget's a little tight.
One of the things that was great about the Linux Action Show was it let me take the passion that I have for my day job and reinvent it in an entirely new way, because I was going to the same conferences, but instead of going there with the goal of capitalizing, now I was just there shaking hands, making friends, and just hanging out and being part of the community, and that was my responsibility because it was part of the podcast job.
So while the Linux Action Show was going, it was a really good outlet for Noah to help his people. During the night, he would sit on his computer and kind of help out fans, and during the day, business was business. So when it ended, I knew he needed some other outlet to kind of help him express his passion for helping people.
We had run a number of pilot episodes, test pilot episodes, to see what the community involvement was, and it was always a wild success. So we knew that there was an audience for this kind of show. I don't think we quite anticipated as much of an audience as we have now, but we knew that there was an audience for this kind of programming. But the problem always was I was still in charge of a network consulting company. And so I kind of had this come to Jesus moment where I just basically realized I had to choose. I can either run this company full time or we can get the show off the ground, but I can't do both. And so what I chose to do was put my day job on hold and spend a couple weeks and get the show off the ground, get it rolling.
So Noah told me that he'd put the director of operations in charge of Altispeed for 3 weeks and that he was going to come home and get ready for the show. So he brings in loads and loads of audio equipment. Our kitchen started looking like a science experiment, and he's just constantly testing everything. It looked ridiculous and it was interesting to watch, but when he does a project like that, he goes all out.
Anyone who's ever worked in this industry realizes that it's not just as simple as plugging a microphone in and going live. It doesn't work like that. And so there were some steps that we had to take, buying a talk show system, buying a broadcast console, stuff like that. But that stuff was pretty well laid out, and we came to some conclusions pretty early on that led us to get a really high quality sound right off the bat.
So he got the studio set up and we were happy with it. Now the challenge was remote broadcasting, because he's gone so often. We really needed a good solution for that. And so in comes the audio equipment again, this whole science project kitchen. But nothing was good enough this time. We really couldn't find anything we were happy with.
At this point, the Ask Noah Show was on the air, but I'd gone back to my job at Altispeed Technologies. And so I'm doing my daytime gig, and at night, every night, I'm researching ways to make the show better, trying to improve the audio quality, trying to figure out if there's something we can do to facilitate this whole remote broadcast thing. And if there's a solution out there, believe me, I tried it. I tried every software solution known to man. I tried things that weren't designed for broadcast. Tried things that were designed for broadcast. None of it sounded good enough. And I knew very early on that the vast majority of our shows, at least half of them, were going to be done remotely, because I'm on the road 3 to 5 days a week. So I knew that this was a problem that we had to solve. And the answer actually fell into my lap. I was doing my day job, and one of our technicians had called in sick. And the client happened to be a larger client, so I decided to take the call personally, and what they were asking us to do that particular day was configure their network to facilitate a remote broadcast for another radio station. And so I got the firewall set up and everything kind of configured, and in rolls the talent. Out comes a Commander G3. He plugs it in, and everything is just on the air in a couple of minutes, and I'm blown away. And I remember putting the headphones on for the first time and just being shocked that this was remote audio, because I felt like my headphones were plugged into their broadcast console. And so I'd come home that night and I started researching Tie-Line and IP codecs in general. I looked at every offering from every manufacturer, but what fit our budget and what fit our needs was Tie-Line. And what sealed the deal was when I went to their website, they had this available link that you could have them send you at no cost some trial units. And I knew the codecs sounded good because I had heard them earlier that day, but it's just different when it's your program audio going through it, when it's your show, when it's your voice, when you can do an A/B comparison. This is what we sound like at the studio, and this is what we sound like remote, and there isn't much of a difference.
It must have been 3 a.m. Noah comes up the stairs. He's so excited. He tells me, I found this company named Tieline, and they've got exactly what we need. They're going to send me this codec to test for free. And I'm kind of scratching my head. Besides being half asleep, you know, we're just launching. We're connected to a small little LPF, and we're nobody, but they're sending us this equipment for free. It was really cool, and it was exactly what we needed.
About a week later, the remotes arrived, and we knew right off the bat that they were going to work really, really well for us. In fact, I spent the first 20 minutes convincing my producer that they were, in fact, remotely recorded audio, because I sent him the recording, and he's like, no, man, you just recorded that in the studio. I'm like, no, it really was remote. Then we had to make a decision on what device we were going to purchase. And we arrived at the Tieline Via pretty quickly, mostly because it really is a no-compromise device. From a broadcast perspective, it has everything you need built in. You've got the compression, you've got the talkback and cue channels, you've got the embedded mixer itself. But aside from that, you don't have to worry about the environment variables. And we broadcast for some really hairy situations. And I never have to worry about, do I have AC power, do I have wired internet, because the Tieline Via has battery and it can broadcast over LTE. And we actually broadcast from my lake during the summers when I spend my time out there with my family. And there's a small little LTE modem that we have that you have to like position perfectly and say like this magical incantation to get it to connect properly. And the Tieline Via has never missed a beat.
The show has really grown. Our first show had 4,000 views. Today we have over 200,000 downloads. We're in 10 different countries, and we take calls from all over the world. With the Tieline, it's been really nice because that hasn't come at the expense of our business. When Noah needs to travel, he just takes it along and does a remote show. We haven't had to sacrifice quality. It's actually really funny. He has this Pelican case that he takes around with him everywhere. When we go on family vacations, you know, he has his Pelican case with the Tieline just in case we're a little late. You know, he takes it on business, just kind of everywhere he drags it around. But anytime he needs to do a show remote, he has that accessible, and it's worked out really well.
People do give me a hard time about the Pelican case. It is a Pelican 1510 with laser cut foam. Inside of it I have the Tieline Via, a microphone, and a pair of headphones. And what that allows me to do is not schedule my life around the show. I can do my day job, I can travel for leisure, and if showtime comes and I happen to be out, I know without a shadow of a doubt I can pull that thing out, and within 2 minutes I can be on the air. The Tieline Via, it keeps us on the air. It's just that simple.